Top of the morning to you. The just concluded Rivers local government polls have been generating a lot of controversy. Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC, has told aggrieved political parties and their candidates to go to court, as the law has provided channels for redress. Meanwhile, the state sole administrator, Vice Admiral Ikot Abbas, retired 2 days ago, swore in the new elected chairman of the 23 councils of the state. There has been a lot of reactive. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Mr. Yeso Wike, dismissed the criticisms by opposition leaders, saying that the exercise had not been declared illegal by a court of law. On his part, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, described the elections as not only tragic, but also a mockery of democracy. Opposition leaders say that absurdity has been elevated to the position of statecraft by the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the government it leads. This is our focus on Political Circle today. Welcome to Political Circle. I am Luke Mwo. Joining me is a legal practitioner, a frontline political analyst, and a farmer. Also barrister Najume of Okansi. Also, you're welcome to
Thank you, Luke, for having me this morning.
It's always a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, blessed to be here.
Well, I'll start this way. Rivers State local government elections. Democracy, or mockery of democracy, as Peter Obi put it.
Well, definitely you will not expect me to give you yes or no answer, because if I do that, arriving at the thing analytically, you might sort words, say, okay, how did I arrive at my conclusion that it is a mockery of democracy, or it is this, or it is that. Let's start from the beginning. You see, whatever you do in any society has to be governed by law. And from the law, you make rules. So it is governed by law and rules. But when there is no law governing anything, there is no rule governing anything, what the other alternative is anarchy. Now, you might ask yourself, under what law did the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria even appoint Ibok Ebas, or whatever you call his name, the retired naval officer or what? Under what law did he appoint a sole administrator? And under what law did he remove a democratically elected governor? That is where you start from the beginning. Because the Igbo man said that if you don't know where the rest are beating, you won't know where you drive up your body. So, having established that even as a lawyer, I'm at a loss on the law that empowered the president to remove a democratically elected governor and replace him with a sole administrator. If you can take also yourself down memory lane, we recall when the current vice president, what is his name, Shetima, when he said that when he was governor of Borno State, Borno was virtually ungovernable during the time of Jonathan. And Jonathan was bent on removing him. And the Attorney General of the Federation then told Jonathan, you don't have such powers. You can declare a state of emergency, put in the army, wherever strategic position you want to put them, but don't remove a governor that was elected the way you are elected. It's not like some of these governors waking up one day and saying they are sacking local government chairmen that were elected just that way they were elected. And despite the pronouncement of courts on such matters, still they keep on doing the aberration. So the man who conducted the election occupies an illegal position, and in logic and clear thought, which we were taught when we were reading law, when the premise is faulty, the conclusion eventually must be faulty. If the sole administrator occupies an illegal position, he now conducts a local government election. Now, that local government election has conducted. It's also an illegality unto itself, because I've been issued, the man who conducted it has no powers to do such. That is where we rest it. Now, let us even look at the local government election as so conducted. If you look at the local government election itself, I became so keen.
But just before we go into
Yes.
the local government election as conducted, the FCT minister, Mr. Yeso Wike,
Yes.
was quoted as saying that the election has not been declared illegal by any court of law. How correct is he?
Well, you see, if you look at Yeso Wike, what he's saying is what is expected. You see, Yeso Wike has been an aberration in Nigerian politics of late. Initially, when people never know, see, somebody said, I think one philosopher said, you want to know the stuff a man is made of, give him money or give him power. If you give him power or money and the man still controls himself, that man is born naturally good. But if you give him either of these two and he misbehaves, you now know the other side of him, the other part, the inner part of that man, which has been concealed by either poverty or lack of education. So, Wike's statement that, and of course, the court doesn't just wake up, no judge will wake up and say, let's make the candidate. Somebody must have to apply, yes. Someone must have to file a suit, and before the judge makes a pronouncement.
Why didn't the people file a suit?
Nobody knows whether anybody has filed any suit yet. But because I know that before the run up to that election, people were moving to court. I think I recall that there were these activists in Port Harcourt who actually went to court, and the adjournment they were giving him, has to spill over to the time when they must have finished the election. So that is why I said most of the time people tend to lose faith and interest in our judicial system. Otherwise, these are the kind of things that should wake up. You can recall even when the soldiers were there, when Babangida was there, when what is his name? Obasanjo, even as a military head of state, name them, when they were there, judges were still giving orders restraining military dictators from carrying out what they call out-across provisions in our laws. Like when they created the decree, that tried to gag the mouth of journalists. So somebody went to court and court declared it illegal. That it is against.
Okay, let's leave.
That was military regime. But what I'm talking about now, Wike's statement now shows the mockery our initial didn't into. But let us wait. Somebody must definitely challenge that matter in court.
Okay, let's leave whether legal or illegal aside. How did the people participate?
That's where I was going before you.
Did their votes count?
That's where I was going before you cut me off. You see, I said I became so interested in this past election because I was calling my friends who are in Port Harcourt. I want to see what is going on. And the videos they sent and the ones that are trending online became laughable because 80% of people in Rivers State decided that they are not even going to go to vote. So the polling agents were sleeping. But now, like Yobiakpo local government, I'll give you an example. They returned about 320,000 votes for that local government for APC. The same APC, which Tinubu as a whole did not get up to 200,000 votes in Rivers State in 2023. Only Obiakpo gave him 320,000 votes. And when you see the pictures of people who came to vote in Obiakpo, there were people who were sleeping in their various polling offices who are acting agents and officials of RISEC. And again, you find out that there were this other video that was circulating where somebody was stamping, another person was also printing consistently. I wonder how many times you will print 320,000 votes. Most of these things are aberrations, and we will keep on seeing them and keeping quiet. We don't need to, because if we go to court now, like they have told us to go to court, the ones we did before, Because they said if the man cannot, if the child cannot call papa, how can he call papa?
No, but let me now ask you, since you talked about going to court, it is now a tradition in this administration to advise people to go to court. What does that suggest?
That is state capture. It suggests simple state capture. The APs are captured all institutions of state. They have captured the judiciary, they have captured the legislature. Tell me which one they have not captured. So it is an exhibition of state capture because they tell you to go to court, knowing fully well you get nothing in court. If they know that
kind
court,
of impunity.
No, if they know that court will discipline them, they will not tell you to go to court because they have captured virtually every institution of state. So that is when we talk about state capture. We think people who are joking. Tell me how somebody will slap you and tell you to go to court. Two things are there. It's either that he knows the judge will go to adjudicate over the matter, or that he himself is going to be the judge. Otherwise, he shouldn't tell you to go to court when after slapping, knowing that slapping you was wrong. All right.
Now let's talk about the people again.
Yeah.
How will this impact on the people?
No, the people of Rivers State. You see, like the opposition party said that impunity and criminality has been elevated to a statecraft. It has, and the Rivers has been the guinea pig in this experiment, the guinea pig of the experiment. Anambra State used to be the kind of guinea pig experiment, but the Anambra's own all came out positive because it was Anambra that will now change the cycle of election. All election doesn't hold in one day anymore. It is only in Anambra that a sitting governor was, kidnapped with all the retinue of officers he has. It is only in Anambra that a court in Enugu State pronounced that the governor should vacate his seat. A judge in another state, talking not a federal high court judge, a state high court in Enugu, told Governor Anambra to vacate his seat, and it was carried out. So, excuse me. So it is Anambra that have been used as guinea pig experiment all the while, but their own also came out positive. But out of the Rivers, it's coming out negative. The people are the receiving end of the brunt suffering of the rape of democracy in Rivers State. Because somebody says something in the morning, says another in the evening. Wike will say in the morning that he will never interfere with whoever is going to succeed him. The same Wike will keep on interfering with somebody who succeeded him. Wike will tell you the morning that he will never be a minister. What is he doing with the ministerial appointment as a contest for president? The same Wike will angle for becoming a minister and eventually become a minister under a different party.
Let's now go into governance. Hopefully, by 18th of this month, Governor Fubara, the suspended governor, will come back.
Yes.
And now, how will it function? How can he function effectively with a House of Assembly that are in opposition? And now, if you check out the local government election, 3 is for PDP and 20 or thereabout is for the opposition. How is it going to function?
You see, this is one thing I have ever said, and I have ever said it consistently. See, there is no law that says it must be people in your political party that will run government with you. No law says that. If Fubara comes back and does the right thing, people let him do the right thing. P2B ran Anambra State for 7 solid years without even having a single member of the House of Assembly. Remember, they impeached him twice. First for saving money without permission, the other one for reducing cost of the renovation of apartments in which he resides. But at the end of the day, those people who are doing that now discovered that the man was doing the right thing by doing or serving cause for the state. Because whatever is your entitlement as a member of House of Assembly, he gives it to you. Whatever is your right as a citizen, he gives it to you. But the difference is that he will make sure that that right thing being done, nobody is marginalized. If you are entitled to a car as a member of House of Assembly, he'll give you your car. If you're entitled to any extra code wherever you are traveling, he'll give it to you. Provided you don't come to tell him, inflate this contract so that I can take so and so mark off. If Fubara does the right thing, if he comes back, he can work with anybody.
Okay. There's some people that are arguing that this must be a continuation of the war between Wike and Fubara.
If that one is on the realms of speculation, let us watch and see. What I advise Fubara is that he has been cowed to submission. Everyone knows that. They have cowed Fubara to submission. When he comes back, let him just follow the right channel. If he keep doing the right thing, he's still the executive governor. The Speaker of the House of Assembly cannot implement a budget. His duty is to make law. The members of the local government council will still wait for their various legislative councils to pass their own budget, which they have to submit to the governor, which the governor has to take to the House of Assembly, because it is still the state that will approve the budget of the local governments before it trickles down to them. So if the state didn't do those things, the local government will stay moribund. If you are now a local government chairman and you now set up, you now get a contract, you award a contract in your local government above your own budget, which have been passed by your council, and the government supervisory agents found out about it, you go in for it. But the important thing is that let him not come back to stage war. Otherwise, they will keep on frustrating his administration. Let him just come in, do the right thing, the much he can do, even though it is still the same party people in government. After all, the same Fubara that they suspended, you saw him going to commission projects in Abuja with Wiki. So where do we go from here?
Now, yes, people talk about absurdity taken to statecraft. What is 2027 general elections going to look like with this kind of developments?
Testing the ground in River State. That's what APC is doing. Remember, INEC announced that the use of the permanent voters card may not be necessary in 2027 election. So what they now want to do is like the way they gave 320,000 votes for the local government chairman of Obia, but to win the election. That is the same way INEC will now manipulate Nigerians. So if they have tested the ground in River State and nobody is crying foul, they will now extend it to the national cycle tomorrow, because what they are going to do in River is just testing the microphone, what they are going to do in 2027. Because if they succeed now, that implies that if you say, oh, INEC rigs election, APC is mastering us, I will not come to vote, they will ignore you and still write the result the way they have been doing it, and they call the result whoever they call, because the governor upon the president. So what Nigerians should do is to be as vigilant as the vigilante. They should be awake like the river, the fish in the river. If they're not awake, what happened in River State will translate to what will happen in Nigeria in 2027. So we must be very careful and awake to our responsibilities. First of all, we must have to ensure that the National Assembly amends that the Electoral Act, not only to make transmission of electoral results an issue of rules, it has to be an issue of law that must make it mandatory that if you don't transmit, whether you are a copper, whether you are a SIADEC staff, you go to jail for at least 20 to 50 years or pay a fine not being not less than about 100 million. So make it so stringent that you might know that the dangers of you not uploading your own election after the voting. If they make that law, because the problem that made them escape in 2023, because it was reverse transmission was a part of the rules which INEC prepared, the rules of engagement for the 2023 election. The law says that INEC can make laws for the smooth conduct of that election. Rules. The INEC now made that rule that the reverse transmission should be electronically. Now they didn't translate it, and people went to court, and the court now ruled that transmission is a requirement of the rules, not of law. And because it's not a requirement of law, that INEC will not be held responsible. But when the law and the rules conflict, the laws persist. That was how they escaped the non-usage of their beavers, and then called results manually, which ordinarily they promise or they will not call. So they will want to occupy that National Assembly and make sure that they insert that in, because they know that if they transmit the election result from polling booth electronically to the IRF, that manipulation will be less. But the danger there again is that if they now say the use of beavers may not be compulsory, that you can now vote electronically wherever you are, invariably they will still manipulate the system and then infuse people who did not vote to count their votes when they did not vote actually, because it's not electronic voting. Now with that one, they cannot still declare who they want to declare. So this ground they tested in Rivers, we now need to use from that thing, know where we are going. So they have tested the waters in Rivers to know whether their rigging machinery will work in 2027. And if it works for them, it are not, we cannot say it is who yet, because nobody has gone to court yet. No pronouncement has been made on it until we hear court pronouncement, even though a lot of people have lost a lot of confidence in the courts. But I do believe that one day, something, because all these things that are suppressing, capturing state institutions, the next thing it will lead to is anarchy. If you now see you cannot get justice in court, you cannot get justice from election, you cannot vote and your vote will be counted, the next thing, people are pushed to the wall and they rebel. And once the rebellion starts, it consumes everybody, including me and you.
Well, thank you very much. I think your key point is that Nigerians should be vigilant.
Vigilant, very exactly.
Also, Barrister Ofokansi, the legal practitioner and farmer, thanks for coming to Political Circle. Well, that's our show today. Please God, we'll be back again, so find time and join us. My name is Luke Mbo. Nigeria, we hail thee.